Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. It's Friday, October the 13th. Yes, it's Friday the 13th, but we don't believe in all that malarkey. We're live right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel with Mr. Sean Higgs, with Mr. Jesse Schule. I'm Ross Benjamin. Welcome aboard, folks. We welcome you to chime in with all your questions and comments. Upcoming games this weekend, anything we saw last week, anything in the world of sports betting you want to chime in on or ask or comment on. We'll get to as many of you as we can, time permitting. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ross, but I'm not going to brag because Sean tells me that's bad luck. So as hard as you try, I'm not doing any bragging today.
Here we go. Now Jesse, start with me.
And it's Friday the 13th, so I need to keep my luck as good as I can get it.
Yeah, okay. If you want to follow his lead, as always. Not a bad guy to follow anyway. But Sean, other than suggesting not to brag when you win and brag, I don't know. What do you do when you lose? You tell the truth and then you don't brag when you win. So I don't know what the sense of it all is, but you tell me.
I don't know. Easy winner last night on Chiefs under. So we'll take that.
All right.
I'm not bragging.
I went 2-0 last night.
Sounds like bragging to me. Sounds like bragging to me, guys. You guys are in big trouble.
All right. It's not. You know why? Because I had Devils puck line, and they give up a goal with 32 seconds left to kill my puck line.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It's a tough loss, man. That's a bad
the West Virginia backers are all upset. Oh, you scored 2 touchdowns in a minute and 42 seconds, and you think you got you're trailing the entire game. 2 touchdowns in a minute and 45, and that's a bad beat for you?
That's still a bad beat, though, Sean. I didn't have any action on that game, but that's still a bad beat.
Man. It is, but you also, how about if you had Houston up the entire game and they give up a 50-yard touchdown with 12 seconds? That's just as bad.
Well, yeah. Again, I mean, you could simply empathize with either way, but it is what it is. We win some like that, we lose some like that. In my estimation, and I know a lot of people out there, guys in my circles, will tell you that it doesn't even out, but those types of games, in my opinion, even out over the long haul. It's being on a decisively right side as opposed to the decisively wrong side. You need to be on that decisively right side more times than the latter. Okay, that's the bottom line. Okay, I mean, look, if you won that game last night with either team, just count your blessings. All right, that's what like last week, I went with LSU on a pick 6 with 32 seconds to go. I had no business winning that game. I know damn well that I was lucky, but, I could go back and tell you several other stories like these two guys could about games we lost with bad beats. Sean was just talking about it before we went on air. Or you just talked about it just a while ago, weren't you, with the New Jersey Devils? Did you say that on an air or was that beforehand? Yeah, so there you go. All right, let's get right to the comments and questions. Pounded Sports, make sure you let Ross talk. Sean, you can talk on tonight's podcast. Look, and I appreciate your humor there, but Sean could speak anytime he likes. It's just the dynamic we have. And as a host, once in a while, I have to put the stranglehold on him, not because I want to. It's because he gets, we got to let other people talk throughout the course of the show. And he's on this program because of his ability to talk and say intelligent things in the world of sports betting. You might not always agree with him, but that's why he's here. So
thank you for that compliment, I think. Intelligent things. Wow. I don't get that. I haven't heard that since I was like 5, and my mom probably liked the stick figure picture I drew her.
What do you guys think about Alabama laying 20 against Arkansas? Jesse?
I think it's a great game just to pass on. I mean, Alabama's coming off of a big win. They've looked like they look great, but there's what's the incentive to blow out Arkansas? I don't see it. I think it's too difficult a game to handicap. I think it's a good game to stay away from because the number looks about right to me. I don't see any advantage. I'm passing on this one.
Arkansas, 4 losses, Sean, they have this year, if I'm not mistaken. At least 3, I know that. I want to say 4, but my point being is they got to be the best 3 or 4 loss team in the country because they've lost some tough games. BYU game, they lost 38-31. They outgained BYU by 100-something yards. They lose at LSU by 3. So it's a good team, and Alabama coming off that Texas win at Texas A&M last week. You know what? In my opinion, anyway, Sean, I'm interested to hear yours. I just think there's a lot better games on the board than to fiddle with this one, Ernst.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he phrased it. Do you like Alabama as 20? He's a Bama guy. I would lean to the dog. You got Arkansas's dropped 4 in a row here to SEC or not? BYU's not an SEC team, but for premier kind of big programs, I guess you'd say. So they're kind of up against it. You getting 20, Bama off the A&M game. I would lean to the dog, but again, like Jesse said, better games out there. And Bama's got the big revenger on deck versus Tennessee.
So when Sean decides he isn't going to talk, he's going to type. So let's get some questions, and I agree with him. All right.
So there's 30 people watching, but we could just get into our NFL.
Yeah, let's get into the NFL. All right, let's our games. We're going to be covering the Saints and Texans, the Colts and the Jags, the Lions and the Bucks. Let's start with Jesse, the Saints and the Texans. Right now, the Saints a 1.5-point favorite. The total in this game is 42.5. If you chose to go to money line, the Saints are minus 125. Jesse, what say you?
I say the Texans have been impressive, and they got a rookie quarterback. He's not doing too bad. He has yet to throw an interception. I'm not a big CJ Stroud fan, though. As good as the Texans have been, I think they're kind of running into a buzzsaw here with the Saints. I think Derek Carr is coming off of a decent game finally. He's been banged up. They got Alvin Kamara back, and Alvin Kamara looked pretty good last week against the Patriots. And the Saints have a defense. They're the 4th-ranked passing defense in the NFL. They allow 183 passing yards per game. They have 7 picks in 5 games. Only one team has more. CJ Stroud has yet to throw an interception. I'm going to bet on Stroud to throw a pick here in this game at plus 125, and I'll take the Saints on the money line at minus 125.
All right, so Jesse likes the Saints minus 125 on the money line over the Houston Texans. He also likes a prop on C.J. Stroud to throw at least 1 interception, and that's at money line odds of plus 125. We got a couple questions here. What's the thoughts of
Philadelphia? I love it.
Versus the D-backs. I got 4-1 Phillies to win the pennant, and D-backs 9-1 to win the pennant. $100. Who do you guys like to win? I unequivocally like Philadelphia in this series. I just think the Phillies got the better starting rotation, especially the top. I know that Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen are good, but they're homer pitchers. I mean, they pitch well on the road against some teams that just aren't hitting right now in the postseason. That's not the case with Philadelphia. I love Zach Wheeler. I love Aaron Nola. Ranger Suarez, he can give you 4 or 5 solid innings, and you could lean on the Phillies bullpen, and they are the more consistent hitting team in this matchup. I know that Arizona hit well against the Dodgers. Give them a lot of credit for sweeping the Dodgers, but I like Philadelphia. Sean?
Yeah, it pains me to say because I hate Philly. I'm definitely not a Philly guy, but last year they went on a run and they didn't really have much hitting. Now everybody's hitting that lineup. And it comes to this time of year, who's the pitcher who's going to step up who you're not expecting? And we've seen Suarez those 2 games getting the wins and shutting down. Forget about the win. Just shutting down the Braves offense that was ridiculous all season. I mean, you got to lean Philly. Just because I trust their veteran bats more than the youngsters of Arizona. But listen, I'd love to see Arizona get there just because I don't need all my South Jersey friends harassing me. Their nonsense between them and the freaking Eagles.
Yeah, I got a little shaken last night when I seen Bryce Harper get hurt in the late innings on a play at first base. The guy ran into his elbow that had been operated on. I hope he's okay because we want to see the stars come out and shine. And boy, oh boy, has he shined, Jesse. Any thoughts, Jesse, on this series?
I'm going to answer the question with a question for you guys, and it's a strategy question. I mean, of course, we assume it's going to be Wheeler versus Gallen in game one. But let me ask you guys, do you think that it would be better strategy to throw out guys like B. Fatty in Philly and come back with Gallen back in game 3 or 4 in Arizona, given that, as Ross mentioned, he's a homer pitcher? You really need Gallen to steal games for you. And isn't he more likely to do that in Arizona than he is to do it in Philly? I don't know if that's ever been done. I don't know if it's even possible to conceive of such a thing, but that's the way I'd probably look at doing it.
Yeah, it's like when I asked my wife, how much money do you need? And she comes back with, how much could you afford to give me? You know, so I ask a question, I get a question in return. To answer your question, yes, I'm only kidding, Jesse. You know that. Smile, brother. Zach Gallen, I would want him pitching. Look, I would assume, I'm going to go under the assumption as a manager that what if the series goes 7 games? You always have to make that assumption, in my estimation. You always want to win quicker than that, but you always have to think ahead. If this game goes to game 7, who do I want on the mound? I would, with that being said, I would want Zach Gallen assured to be pitching 3 times in this series and to be pitching in game 7 and game 1. Game 1 being critical to get off to a good start. Game 7 critical as well. The only downside to that, Sean, is Gallen has been a lot better at home than on the road.
Well, yeah, his home numbers are ridiculous. That's why we think he's bad on the road. Where, okay, he's giving up runs. I think he gave up 8 to Pittsburgh one day, and the Dodgers beating him. You have to play him. You have to put him out. Yeah. I mean, maybe what do you do? You can't put him in game 2. Merrill Kelly's, his splits are kind of the same. But listen, you got here with that guy. You can't say, well, I'm going to play. Hopefully, we split with Kelly and B. Fatty or Henry or whoever the heck they roll out there. I mean, who knows? Zach Davies, whatever kind of retread you're going to throw out. How about a Wheeler NLCS MVP ticket? If he gets 3 starts, he could easily go 2-0. Yeah. And if they pitch like they're pitching, these are going to be low scoring or not. The other team not scoring. I know the Phillies are going to score runs, but he's going to be going 7 and striking out 7 and getting wins. I look at him
deep in the games. He's been great in the postseason, and he's proven to be a clutch pitcher.
I know who got MVP, Castellanos or Harper in the DS.
I think Castellanos. I believe. I mean, he hit 4 home runs in the last 2 games. I don't know.
How don't you give to Suarez? A guy pitches, shuts down the best lineup in baseball for 9 innings. Like Strider loses games 3-1, and he gives up 3 earned runs in 2 games.
That's why you have to look inside the numbers, because you look at Suarez's raw data for the year and you say, this guy is a ho-hum pitcher.
He had a 5.30 ERA at home this year.
Yeah, but you look at what he's done against the Braves since September of last year. He's now made 6 starts, and he has an unbelievable ERA of under 1. Yeah. So, again, matchups, you have to pay attention to pitchers and how they do in specific matchups. So, again, Jesse, we got a question from Ray Bork's brother, Chris Bork. And since you're Canadian, I think you can handle this. I traded Javante for Jerome Ford. Any thoughts, Jesse? Yeah, I guess he's talking about fantasy.
I'm not if it was a hockey question, I'd be all over it for Mr. Bork, but I don't play fantasy myself.
Yeah, I'm not a big fantasy.
Red Raft. What is Red Raft?
Redraft. I guess you redrafted.
Oh, redraft. Yeah. No comment.
Yeah.
I mean, Ford's going to get the action. Here's the thing, though. Won't. I mean, he's
still got Kareem Hunt, though. He's going to be splitting. I mean, you got to believe.
And you have PJ Walker. So it's the Niners in a rain. How are they in a rainstorm in week 1? What did the offense?
But I believe he's talking for the rest of the year. I don't think he's talking about daily fantasy. I believe when he's saying redraft, I think he's talking about the rest of the year. So,
and the Browns got some serious issues right now, though. I wouldn't want to have anybody on the Browns, given the quarterback situation and potential for some really ugly things happening.
That's the thing. That's where it just falls apart. Like the team kind of falls apart. You had high hopes, and then it's like, what happened here? And it spirals. I wouldn't want to get involved with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, look at folks, we appreciate your comments and questions, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. We're not fantasy guys, okay? I know Jesse throws in some props once in a while, and so does Sean, but that's a whole different entity. We're talking about one-game situations and how Jesse or Sean thinks that particular player is going to do in that situation against that opponent. In terms of what we like for the rest of the year, in terms of one specific player, again, it's a whole different entity, fantasy football. It really is, folks. And that's why we tell you all the time, we can care less who's on both sides of the ball most of the time when we handicap games against the point spread, because it's all factored into the line. So it's a whole different mindset. And do I play fantasy on occasion? I do it for the hell of it. I do it for some extra fun. I'm not good at it. I'll tell you that right now. I win on occasion, yeah, more than the average guy, but to compare to how some of these guys who are making mega millions a year on fantasy and have it down to a science, it's not my cup of tea. I can't speak for these two guys. That takes me to this. Our sponsor is Winner's Circle, and it's you can get all three of our picks over at the Winner's Circle, Gamblers World is our sponsor. GamblersWorld.net is where you'll find all three of our. Sean loves when I make mistakes. He laughs. Boy. Anyway, GamblersWorld.net is where you'll find all of our picks, and we guarantee.
At least you got my name
picks.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Haven't called me Craig in a year. That's good.
He used to call you Craig every show. I remember that.
Before I was interrupted, GamblersWorld.net is where you'll find all three of our picks, as well as 7 other great handicappers, as well as subscription plans for all of us. So if you want to invest long-term in it with us and trust the fact we're going to make you a profit over the long haul, that's the way to go. If not, if you like to dabble in once in a while, our single game and multi-game daily packages are all guaranteed, as well as our subscription plans of 30 days or less. If you don't make a profit, we will credit your account back the exact amount of your purchase price. And folks, let me clarify something. If you purchase a pick for $35, for example, and you had some existing credit and you use the $35 credit and you lose, sorry, you're not going to get an additional. You're getting credited back the money that you actually take out of your pocket and spend. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. And, I got something yesterday before we get to the rest of these questions, and I appreciate all you. We'll get to you guys, I promise. Yesterday, somebody chimed in. Kyle Hunter was on my show yesterday, and you guys are very familiar with Kyle, and both of you on more than one occasion has said very nice things about him, not only as a person, but as a handicapper. And one guy chimes in and says, I'm sick and tired about Kyle talking about his college football record at 68% over the last year and a half. When the last 12 free picks he sent lost. I can't take anybody serious as a handicapper if they lose 12 free picks in a row. Well, if indeed that's true, this is some of the mentality of some of you out there. Do you think by making comments like that, Kyle's going to go,
people are going to lose?
I'll start giving you premium picks on the free picks. I'm sorry. No, we're in business, folks. Here's the thing. If Kyle put out 5 picks on a Saturday afternoon in college football, okay, the free pick is the 6th best pick. So if you want to depend on that, then do so. I'm going to turn the tables on you, sir, okay? Anybody who is serious about winning in sports betting and solely depends on going site to site to get free picks is an idiot, okay? It's simple as that. If you want to be serious about making money, you get a pro that actually makes money over the long haul. You're trying to tell me you can't take Kyle serious because he lost X amount of free picks in a row, and you're saying that means his 74 and whatever record that amounts to 68% since the middle of 2021 doesn't make a bit of difference? Well, I beg to differ. Anybody who spent money with Kyle over the last year and a half and has that record, I assure you they're not complaining about his free picks because they're paying for his bet stuff. So stop.
Actually, Ross, I can tell you that Kyle has an excellent winning record for the last 12 or 13 years
Yeah.
overall.
Okay.
All sports. I was digging at one point trying to find who had the best long-term records at sports capping, where the most records are visible, and Kyle came out on top out of like 200 or 300 guys over the years that have been on that site. So yeah, ridiculous. But another thing I want to say is, if you can't take a guy seriously if he loses 12 in a row, what do you do when I win 12 in a row? If I win 12 in a row, are you going to name your children after me? You going to let me spend time with your wife, or what? Because a guy could win 12 in a row or lose 12 in a row. You don't overreact to a winning streak or a losing streak. And I wouldn't expect you to think I was the best in the world because I won 12 in a row. So don't think I'm the worst in the world if I lose 12 in a row.
Well, the point being is Kyle has promoted his college football streak because we do college football picks on that segment of the show. Okay. Kyle and Doug join me on Thursdays. We talk college football.
You want to talk about winning bets all the time and not
The
losing
white
12 in a row.
Mr. T. The white Mr. T has appeared. Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you something,
Anyway.
guy in the comment section. It's Locktober. That means we don't lose. We don't lose here on Winner Circle. All right, you get yourself one of these. Now, this is real diamond spinner. It's a spinner. I put this on my car. Look at that.
All right. The white Mr. T, here's a question for you. The 49ers going to destroy Cleveland, or is this a low-scoring affair? Thanks,
Want to
guys.
buy my picks at Winner Circle? No.
All right.
Gambler's
There we
World.
go.
Gambler's World.
Yeah. Anyway,
Ross says I'm
Jesse,
a little laid back in my pick selling, so I figured I'd flash it up a little.
it's
I
not
love
that
the
you're laid back
costume.
in
I
your
love
pick
it.
selling. There's
It's good after somebody complains about a guy like Kyle who hit 68% for a decade.
Yeah. No, it's not a decade, but he's hit very well over the decade. Okay. Close to 60%, I would say. But in college football, what he's been promoting is his college football run of 68% over the last year and a half. That's not bragging. That's not laying back. That's not promoting like it's 1990. That's a fact. Okay. It's a fact.
I think the guy could come on here and talk for the whole hour about streaks. So he could literally sit there and rattle off streaks for the entire session if he wanted to. He's got that many of them. So.
By the way, 20-7 with my last 27 college football picks, and also 49-24 since December 2nd of last year. Okay. Kiss my ass. That's what I'm going to brag. I'm winning. I'm not doing Stu Feiner and making up records or Sean's two buddies that are on other channels. That's the record. That's how you promote. If you don't want to promote your 49-22 since December of last year in college football, then find another living. Anyway,
I refuse to brag, but I can't wait to hear what Sean has got to say. Sean, tell him you never lose.
He wants you to smash the like button. I agree. Nola Face wants to smash the like button, and that would be a small token of your appreciation for the work we do on this channel. How does Georgia minus 19.5 in the first half sound against Vandy? Again, we're getting into these games, folks, without criticizing you. Come on, there's better games on the board. Jesse, you want to even comment on this?
All I'm going to say is there's better games on the board, Ross. I'm with you 100% on that. Why do we want to speculate about Georgia blowing out Vandy? I don't.
Everyone
Mr.
just
T,
wants
what do
to
you
jump on the big name schools.
Yeah.
I like Vandy, believe it or not, and all the points.
Yeah.
Like we had one.
Again,
Georgia had a breakout, but
I guess the theory here for Dustin would be that Georgia will get out to a big lead and then call off the dogs, with no pun intended, in the second half. And I guess if that's your mindset, you answered your own question, because I certainly don't have an answer for you on this one. Stuart Williams, I like the way your group doesn't use the phrases "I just believe" or "I can just see," and "I just think." Keep up the good analysis. Well, thank you. And I've always contended, guys, that sometimes, and I know this sounds like an oxymoron, I know a lot of you out there, when you buy our picks, we put forth an effort to give you an analysis on why we like that pick. Some of us more extensive than others. In any event, the effort is put in, and we want you to know there's a method to the madness of why we came to our decision, and we want to explain our handicapping theory or a sports betting angle or your sports betting situation, why you like this pick. Sometimes it's more important when you lose than when you win. Why do I say that? Because you want to know you're dealing with a guy that if he does lose, and he's going to lose, okay, no matter who you deal with, they're going to lose at times, that you actually had a good reason why you made that choice. Guys, you want to say anything on that particular topic?
Yeah, I think The Rock said it best. Sorry, I won't go that way, but yeah, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you feel. We're talking about what's real and what's not real. We bring up history, matchups, and try to make some sense of it. And we're not sitting here going on what we believe and what we feel, I don't think.
Yeah,
or I'm not anyways.
Or
I gotta say, sometimes there's just spots I'm like, you know what? I just don't see it. I can't. There's a reason for whatever, and then I'll go. Not that it's a straight up a gut play.
But you're not saying I don't see it.
But I will go, like, I'm drawn to the game for whatever reason. Like, no way.
Yeah.
What's that line? I'm on the other side, or I'm on the side, and then I'm like, why is it drawing me here? And then I come to my conclusions of why. That's why I love it so much.
So I always say, and I think you're saying the same thing without saying it, okay, is think like an odds maker sometime, folks, because they're the smartest guys out there. If you think you're smarter than the odds maker, that's your first fault. You're never going to make money. So sometimes you got to think like an odds maker. We talked about this, Sean. You know, I talked about it last week. LSU, a 2-loss team, as a favorite on the road against a ranked unbeaten opponent. Okay, I got lucky, but still, when I looked at that game, I'm thinking like an odds maker because I know they're trying to suck you in on a home dog that's undefeated. You know, so that's what Sean's trying to say. Other than that, we all have our specific reasons why we like games. Peter Reyes, who's a very good follower of ours, and we appreciate it, Peter. Hey, guys, made it. Time to catch up. Thanks, Mr. T. All right. Pounded Sports, Sean looks like a retired pimp. Actually, how did you know that? Anyway, Don,
you probably saw the
guys, I have a question. Okay, what's your question, Don?
What's your question, Don?
Yeah. Go ahead, fire away, Don. Oh, here we go. Why is UNLV versus Nevada line -8.5? That's fishy. I like UNLV, but the number is taking me off. That's a perfect example of what Sean was just talking about.
Yeah,
exactly. And what I was.
Why is it like that? You should like UNLV. Good things going on in UNLV. And yet this line.
See, to me, this lures me over to the other side, to Nevada, because the line opened at 9.5. It's down to 8.5. It's at Nevada. It's a rivalry game. And yes, UNLV has been pretty good this year. And this is probably one of the worst Nevada teams we've seen in recent seasons. But having said that, it's still a rivalry game. Jesse, any thoughts?
I mean, it's a difficult one to handicap. The line looks about right to me. I mean, Nevada's winless. Both teams have strength of schedule issues. It's tough to say how good they are because you look at who they played, and like I say, better games on the board. I'm not dying to play this game, that's for sure.
Sean, any thoughts on UNLV and Nevada other than UNLV?
I was going to say, on the UNLV one real fast, like 40 points they scored the last 3 games, UNLV, and they're a 8-point dog. Weird. I like A&M, Neil. I like A&M. And it's one of those for me, like, what? Jimbo's, get your team off the mat. Let's go. All right. You lost. Tough game. Tennessee's off a bye week. Your strength, you should shut them down. They're run first team. Come on. Let's see.
And I'm coming off that game at Alabama last week, Jesse.
And it's tough taking them because they're soft. They're marshmallow soft. Let's see if they got any heart.
Jesse.
Tennessee coming off of a bye week. Looks like a perfect spot to back Tennessee. However, I'm concerned about Joe Milton. He has shown us nothing yet this year from what I've seen. And the Aggies have a hell of a defense, and even though they lost to Alabama, they did some really impressive things defensively in that game. They got burned by that Jermaine Burton receiver that sort of came out of nowhere to have that big game. Tennessee doesn't have that. Brew McCoy's out for the year. It looks like it's going to be a tough game for both teams. So I'm on the fence about a side, but I think it's going to be a gritty game, that's for sure.
This will be part of my 3-game package, this game, 3-game afternoon package. So if you're interested and you believe in guys that are win streaks, which I am, then you'll purchase. If not, you'll complain about Kyle Hunter's free picks. Anyway, Javier Fuentes, Arizona plus 7.5 versus Washington State. Arizona coming off that game last week, they gave USC hell, for lack of a better phrase. 43-41 triple overtime game. I don't know. How do they bounce back from that? You expend a lot of emotion when that happens, Sean.
I don't. Give me Washington State. Javi, Javi's been in my chats before. He knows. I see that 7.5. I'm running to the fave. Don't fall for that. Like, oh, they're going to get that. Nope. Washington State by double digits. Don't overthink it. Off a tough overtime loss. Nope.
Javi, if all else fails, you could audition for the remake of Cheech and Chong. Anyway, Nola Face, Tulane and Memphis over 54.5. He looks like Cheech. Tulane and Memphis over 54.5. Seems like a field goal too low. Thoughts? That goes tonight.
I like the over. I don't care. It looks easy. I know it did. I said I did a free pick, Nola. I was like, why isn't this 57 or 60 the way these guys score against each other in their own games and against other opponents? I still like the over. I'll grab the square play. It is sometimes. It is what it is. I'm not overthinking it. The numbers say to me take the over.
Yeah, I used Memphis earlier in the week as a free pick on Monday, actually, with Doug Upstone. I shied away from betting on that game once I saw the line move. I do have a small lean toward Memphis, but I'm not going to take any money out of my pocket to bet on it, nor would I want you to. But again, I had to mention that because I already gave it out as a free pick and I can't go anywhere else with it. Jesse?
This guy says the total seems a field goal too low. I think the Memphis getting those points as a home dog looks like a field goal too high on the points there. The home teams won, I think, 6 straight between the two teams. Memphis is pretty solid at home. I know that their defenses look questionable this year, but could they put it together for a home game to be competitive against a Tulane team? I think they could. It does look suspicious when that line creeps up like that, but I'd lean towards taking the points myself.
How do you guys feel about Maryland? They're clearly higher ranked in most categories, minus 14, no hook. What do you think? I looked at this game, and I would clearly think that Maryland's a better team, other than the fact that the situation is they're coming off a tough game at Ohio State, in which they gave the Buckeyes all they can handle for a half. I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on this game? Because I certainly don't.
I got a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth because I had Maryland plus 20.
Yeah.
At least I got a push instead of a loss. But yeah, the way they gave up that game late, left a sour taste in my mouth. Hard to back them again this week.
All right, Clint.
I'd lean on them. I'd lean on them there.
Sorry.
Fade them next week against Northwestern when they have Penn State on deck. Take them this week, blow out, and then fade them when they're big. Whatever they're laying on the road at Northwestern.
Auburn plus the 11.5, guys, against LSU. It just seems – I don't know what to think of Auburn. I don't know if I want to put too much stock in the fact that they gave Georgia such a tough time, because before then they showed no offense whatsoever, and they should be able to score against LSU. This is a game I'm going to stay away from because – I do not trust. I had LSU last week. I got lucky. I went like this, and they lay an 11.5 against a team that plays defense that bad is never a good idea for me. But again, what do you guys think? Sean, start with you.
I think Auburn. right? 14, we talked about this team. 14 versus Cal, 10 versus A&M. You put up points on garbage teams, and you're getting 11 versus a team that scores 40 whenever it wants. I mean, give me the points. Not
Okay.
thinking about
Jesse,
it. Over.
Any thoughts, Jess?
Yeah, from a situational standpoint, it looks like Auburn's the play. Looks like a bit of a letdown spot for LSU. But I think, Ross, I agree with you that you can't really trust Auburn at this point. So I would stay away.
Bama on deck for LSU.
There you go. See his picture? All right. That's why I mentioned the Chiefs thing, and that was meant with all due respect. And thank you for chiming in, Javier. We appreciate it. I know you've been watching Sean's show. Appreciate you chiming in on our show as well. Peter Reyes. Hey, Colorado game tonight. What do you guys think about the under? I don't think anything about the under with Colorado. I'm not saying that the under won't cover, but you're not going to get me lining up at the window to take an under in a Colorado game anytime soon. They don't stop anybody. They score a lot of points. I don't know. Do you guys have anything different you want to add to that?
I will say that Stanford's quarterback situation could be key here because they've had this guy, Ashton Daniels, who's been not bad. He's put up solid numbers for them, but he's been banged up because they can't protect him. He's been roughed up, and so he's missed a ton of time. And the other guy they put in,
Justin Lamson.
Justin Lamson. Got it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good at all. So I did read this morning that Daniels would be back. And with him at quarterback, I like Stanford to contribute some points against the Colorado defense. So not liking the under at all.
Respectful, no complaints from me. Life is too good. Yep, you got it, buddy. Always good to stay in a positive mindset, especially when we're talking about sports betting, because you're going to have a lot of peaks and valleys. You just want to have more peaks than valleys. And when you have the valley, you just got to, like Sean always says, you got to keep grinding, baby. Got to keep grinding. Hello, first time to join. Always following. Louisville game line is too low. Big win against Notre Dame and only -7. Well, that might be the reason. They're on the road coming off a big win. They've overachieved to this point. I don't know.
It was 7.5 this morning.
Yeah,
it's come down to half a point.
Pittsburgh's not that good, but it's just I'd be a little leery of that. Buyer beware, in my opinion, Sean.
I agree. It's Pitt or nothing here. I mean, Pitt, they just moved their QB to like tight end, they said, right? Jerkovich he's a tight end wide receiver now. He's not even a quarterback anymore. And the line is, again, 7 looks low because of everything we just saw. They're undefeated, blah, blah, blah. But, man, does that just say Pitt outright in this spot? Like, Pitt money line. Let's go. Let's go Panthers.
Yeah. Hey, look, I mean, Coach Brom has done a great job at his alma mater in the first year. I don't think anybody thought at this point they'd be 6-0, knocking off Notre Dame, killing their hopes of any national title aspirations. Yep. But let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're only laying 7.5 on the road. Again, think like an odds maker. They're hoping that you have a short memory, right, Jesse?
I mean, you look at this entire sentence and you want to flip around the logic entirely. Everything in this sentence and all the entire reasoning, you want to just go exactly reverse the way you're thinking. And that's how a team like Louisville beats a team like Notre Dame. That's how a team like Georgia Tech beats a team like Miami. You get these situational spots, teams coming off big wins, going to play a team that's not supposed to be competitive. They lay an egg. It happens every week. We see it. Don't fall into that trap thinking they're coming off a big win, so I'm going to lay a bunch of points with them this week. That's not the way you want to handicap college football.
Absolutely. And it's, I think like an odds maker, Jesse, sometimes he looks at things contrarily. And rightfully, that's the same. It's, again, Sean didn't say exactly thinking like an odds maker, but in not so many words he did with his logic. Jesse, the same thing. Okay. We might word it different, but there's a lot of parallels between the three of us when it comes to that type of philosophy. Georgia State versus Marshall, really like Georgia State. I would have a lean toward, I'm not using that game, but I would have a lean toward Georgia State only because they're at home. And Marshall's a hard team for me to figure. I believe they lost to an FCS team early on this season, and then they've been tough ever since. Jesse, any thoughts?
Marshall lost to NC State last week. Quite a competitive game, a tough loss. I think that sort of sets it from a situational standpoint, sets them up for a bit of a letdown here against Georgia State. I do like the Georgia State team. I mean, their offense can put some points on the board. So yeah, I could be talked into that, I think.
Yeah, and how good is that line? Talk about a fishy line last week. North Carolina State is just like a 7 or 7.5 point favorite at home. That looked fishy to me, Sean. And you know what?
I thought it was going to be a little defensive. I think I had an under. I had an under here in that show. I was like, Marshall's going to play a little. I thought at the end here, a little defense with Marshall. Now it's a shootout.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wrong on Marshall, but I agree with the Georgia State. They opened as a dog. Now they're the favorite.
Yeah, and what I was going to ask you, Sean, is a win over North Carolina State right now, or even playing them tough in Marshall's case. I'm not so sure that's a feather in your cap right now, unless you win the game handily. Because I'm not sold on North Carolina State. I mean, decent team, but very beatable. Fresno State backup quarterback. Utah State, good home team getting points. I like Utah State plus the 4.5. What do you guys think? I have a pick on that game up right now at gamblersworld.net. Ian, if you really want the answer to that game, there it is. But if these guys are kind enough to give you their opinion and sway you, got to help you. I'm not that respected. Jesse.
I will say that Fresno State's backup quarterback is bad. Logan Fife. I mean, you look at his stats; they're ugly. So yeah, I would actually lean toward the under here, just because Utah State's defense is not supposed to be good, but they look like a little bit better lately. Fresno State's defense is good, and the quarterback they're rolling with is a guy that just doesn't get the job done. And I don't think there's going to be a ton of points in this one. I'd lean toward the under.
So I have the side in that game, so that helps you a little bit, Ian. And Fresno State coming off their first loss of the season last week, Sean, against at Wyoming. How did he recover?
Okay. New quarterback changes the whole aspect. You go from a 7-point fave to a 3-point fave. I'll roll with Jesse on the under here.
Really like Auburn in the spot. 4 big games back to back. Clint, thank you for chiming in. Clint, I think we commented.
Take Auburn, Clint.
Yeah, I think we commented on this game earlier. So if you missed it, Clint, just do a little bit of rewind on the archive. I don't know Sean's not animated enough. Hell.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I think he means that as a compliment.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to speaking of Sean, let's get to his NFL game. The Colts and the Jags. AFC South matchup. Right now, the Jags a 4-point home favorite, and a total 44.5. The Jags coming off back-to-back wins in London. The most recent win was an impressive one over the Buffalo Bills. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah. Only way to look at this, we're taking the Colts. I mean, Jags, 2 weeks in England, you're off a game. You dominated Buffalo. You controlled the whole game, start to finish, big win. And now you take on a little feisty Colts team. Minshew Mania. You got Moss. You got Taylor back there. This is a little dangerous team now. This is the team I thought we'd see at the start of the year. They almost got him in that first game, too. I mean, Minshew couldn't punch it in from the one for a backdoor cover, but again, bad spot. I'm not overthinking things. I like the fade teams coming back from England anyway, and you're coming back for 2 weeks there. Yeah, well, not that it'll be jet lag, but it's different. It's just not a good spot. Give me the underrated Colts team. The line's come down 2 points too. So
Jesse Anthony Richardson can't seem to stay healthy. Now he's on the shelf for a few weeks. You could do a lot worse than Gardner Minshew as your backup quarterback. I sort of have a lean toward the over in this game, the over 4.5. Sean gave his compelling case, which I agree with his take. And yourself, what do you think of this matchup?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Colts are 3-2, and the 3 wins were the games that Minshew led the team in passing attempts, and when Richardson led the team in passing attempts were the losses. So it certainly seems to me that the Colts are a better team with Minshew at quarterback. I'll take Minshew Mania plus the points anytime.
All right, so there you have it. Sean likes the official pick is the Indianapolis Colts plus the 4 at Jacksonville. Reminding you again, Jesse's free pick for the show was on the New Orleans Saints minus 125 on the money line. And Jesse also likes CJ Stroud to throw an anytime interception, or at least one pick, I should say, at money line odds of plus 125. I'm going to look at the Lions and Bucks. Right now, the Lions are 3-point road favorite. The total is 42.5. Detroit, 4-1 straight up. The only loss coming at home against Seattle in overtime. Couple impressive road wins at Green Bay and at Kansas City. 3-0 straight up in ATS in their last 3 games, winning by a decisive margin of 15.3 points per game. Tampa Bay is quietly, and Sean mentioned this before the season started. A lot of people thought he was joking, but it looks pretty good right now because, he thought that NFC South was wide open. Why not take a chance on the Bucks at 10-1 odds? Well, right now they're 3-1. Not only 3-1, they've covered 3-4. Their only loss coming to the Eagles. A lot of teams are going to lose to the Eagles this year. Defensively, they've been sound. I mean, you take away the Eagles game, they've been absolutely terrific. And even with the Eagles game, they're only allowing 17 points and 318 yards a game. Another factor, too, they're coming off a bye week, okay? In Detroit's not. And their last time out, they're 26-9 winner at New Orleans as a 4.5-point dog. Impressive win there. Being not so much impressive, the fact they beat New Orleans, but they were a sizable dog, and they did it decisively. And then you look at the turnover differential. As good as Detroit is, 4-1, they're only at +1 turnover differential. You want to know why Tampa Bay, a good reason why Tampa Bay is 3-1? Yes, their defense has played good, but they're also +7 in the turnover department. So, and here's an NFL betting angle for you. Since 1983, NFL teams like Tampa Bay, they're coming off a road dog straight up win like they are. That win over New Orleans is a 4.5-point dog. And both teams in the contest have a win percentage of 750 or better. The teams in that situation, like Tampa Bay, that are coming off the road dog straight up win, 28-6 straight up. Okay, Ross, why are you giving us a straight up betting angle? Because it supports the underdog, you dummy. I'm going to take Tampa Bay +3 against the Lions. Sean?
Are you going to ask me who I'm taking in this game?
Yeah.
Come on. It's Tampa, baby. All day.
Tampa Bay all day. There you go.
Tampa.
I know I should have known, but I wanted to give you an opportunity because that's why I hate Jesse. I hate making futures bets because some of us feel like we have to be married to betting it. I'm not saying Sean in this instance, but a lot of guys, like friends of mine, I know my one buddy took Detroit at the beginning of the year. Now, if I go against Detroit and he pays for my picks, he's like, Ross, I'm sorry, but I got Detroit. Buddy, you can't marry yourself, okay? You got Detroit over 9.5 wins. They could still lose. How many games? 7 games, okay? And you catch your bet. Jesse, anyway, not to get off track, your comments on this particular matchup, the Lions and the Bucs.
Well, Ross, I've said it before. The way I do my handicapping process is, I like to hop on teams one week, off them the next week, and when I really get in a groove, I can fade a team, then back a team, then jump back on and off, and that's where I like to be. So yeah, I don't want to be married to any particular team. But as far as this game goes, I think the Bucs are probably practicing right now, and Mike Evans was scheduled to practice. He's been listed as questionable all week. You got to like the Bucs a lot. I like the Bucs anyways, but you got to like them a lot more if Evans actually is a full participant at practice, because that means he's going to play.
Okay, so again, we already heard Jesse's pick on the Saints minus 125 on the money line over the Texans. He also likes a prop on CJ Stroud to throw at least one interception at money line odds of plus 125. Mr. Higgs, he likes the underdog Indianapolis Colts plus the 4 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Ross Benjamin, yours truly, he's going to go with the Tampa Bay Bucks plus the 3 against the Lions. And we all seem to be on the same page on all 3 of our picks. So I don't know if that's a good sign or bad sign. I like to think it's a good sign because I'm going to use the analogy brilliant minds think alike, Sean. And I know you don't like to give yourself credit about being brilliant or intelligent, so I'll do that for you. If you want me to promote your picks for you, I'll do that as well. Okay, Sean went 64% in the NFL last year, making 207 picks. You come an 8-1 Sunday a couple weeks ago in the NFL, and you can get his NFL package right now, right through the Super Bowl, folks. We're talking week 6. We're approaching week 6 in the NFL season, which means we have 13 more weeks of NFL regular season play, a few weeks of playoff action, the Super Bowl. You can get all of Sean's NFL picks right now for $5.99. That's not a lot of money. When you think about how many picks he's going to give you,
There's
the only
12
thing I
this
would
weekend.
recommend
There's 12.
is you exercise very good money management, because Sean is a volume handicapper. He's good at what he does. But even he'll tell you, you want to protect yourself in case you get off to a bad start with him, that you have enough money to reap the rewards the rest of the year. Sean, anything you want to add in terms of what you got going on?
12 NFL up for Sunday, 8 college for Saturday. That's it. I can't get crazy. I was going to put the gold back on. I bought these rings. They don't even fit my fingers.
I hope
See,
I can clip up that clip of you.
Yeah, I mean, we go from he doesn't want to promote himself to him wearing all this expensive jewelry and showing people I don't need the money. So I can't win with this guy. What are we going to do? Start dressing like you're in the poorhouse, pal. What can I tell you? All kidding aside, Sean does pretty well.
I can't. Jesse bought up all the tank tops. I can't even get a tank top in out here.
Yeah, well, yeah. Guys are still drilling me on this dress code, but look, you guys look marvelous. How's that? Jesse.
Well, I refuse to brag because Sean says it's bad luck, but
I don't
you
care
can
what
find
Sean
me.
says. What does Jesse say?
You can find me on the leaderboards. I've got a bunch of football up for sale at gamblersworld.net. Tonight, one game tonight, CFL. And I'm not bad at CFL. Let's put it that way. I'm not bad.
Oh, you are.
So
I know you.
so I got a CFL play tonight, and then a full card of college tomorrow, and then NFL on Sunday. And yeah, we're gonna we're looking pretty good. Let's put it that way. I want to really downplay it right now because you puff your chest out too much. It's bad luck. We don't want that.
I'm puffing my chest out, folks. I've been puffing my chest out for 2 months. I'll continue to puff my chest out. When I lose, I'll tell you. I went Saturday through Wednesday. I went 6-11. However, I bounced back with a 2-0 yesterday. And even with that 6-11, I got some pretty good streaks going on. College football, 20-7 since September the 14th. Back to December 2nd of last season, 43-20 college football run. All sports since 9/12, September 12th, 49-27, 62%. Since August 4th, 97-63, 61%. All documented right there at gamblersworld.net and every other site I'm on. My football picks combined NFL, college football, 34-16 since September the 14th. And that's good for 68%. So, yeah, folks, I'm going to pound on my chest when I win, but I'll also be very transparent when things ain't going good. And all of you who have been watching this show for quite a while, including my 2 partners, know that's the case. I don't make up records. And when I'm losing, I tell you the way it is. And, we're all going to go through bad streaks. Right now, I'm not on one, not on a bad streak. So,
Ross,
yeah.
I want to. Arbo's like Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Too. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to when it was Nick Foles facing Jacoby Brissett, because that has so much to do with that game. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
what was the question again, Sean?
They were talking about someone.
Yeah.
Had agreed with us about the Colts game, and we're like, well, we did the Colts, and then someone was like, I agree with the Colts. Where is it at? I forgot who put it up there.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then the final comment was, Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Good luck with that one, fellas. I mean, like,
Yeah, well,
come on,
yeah,
you
know,
can't.
yeah.
Who's the quarterback?
And
Who's the
in Green
coach?
Bay and the Green Bay Packers, if you look at their home favorite record since around 2010, they're tremendous. But that was with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Okay, it's because come on.
Well,
Cody Kessler beat Andrew Luck 6-0. That's what we're writing this game on. How about
Ed
that?
Henderson,
Cody
thanks
Kessler
for joining.
beat Andrew Luck 6-0.
Yeah,
the Jags haven't spent 2 weeks in London and then come back and play a game without a bye anytime since 2014 either. So that's a unique situation.
It's never been done before. It's not. It's never been done before. It's bottom line is no NFL teams ever played in London or in Europe or abroad in back-to-back weeks. So, good point.
And they've always, or usually they get a bye when they return from London as well, right?
Yep, exactly right, Jess. But now they give them a choice. They get apparently the NFL will actually ask the team if they prefer the bye week after. In other words, if they want the bye week after, the NFL will oblige them. Okay, if they don't, they won't. So, Icy Rocks, how do you guys see the Eagles versus Jets going? Eagles offense hasn't been stellar, but every time I say they're not stellar, they come up with a good effort. Yeah. I mean, they were pretty good last week. They were pretty good against a good Tampa Bay defense. Beware the Eagles, guys. Okay. This is a team coming off a Super Bowl loss. Usually you'll see a hangover from teams like this. Their form of a hangover is barely getting by in games and still winning. Jesse, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to find a reason to back the Jets getting 7 points. I think is the best line you can get here, but I wouldn't feel very comfortable with it. And it looks like a good game. There's better games on one of those better games on the board situations. I got 3 picks for Sunday. I'm conservative with my NFL. I don't want to play every game on the board, and these are the type of games that I shy away from.
All right. Javier, best sports camping show live by far. Thank you, Javier. Appreciate it very much. And I agree with you, and I think the other guys do too. Peter Reyes, you all think Florida State will cover the 18.5? I had this game earlier this week, I think with Jesse and Sean, and I already laid the 17.5 against my beloved Orange. If it's moved to 18.5, I still like that. I don't trust Dino Babers. Do you, Jesse?
Well, I think my comment on the show earlier in the week was that when the bubble burst for Syracuse last year, they fell flat, and I would expect that to be the case again this year.
Yeah, when the bubble burst is, in other words, of saying you faced 6 cream puffs to start the season last year. You won all 6. You faced 4 cream puffs to start the season this year, and you won all 4. And when you step up in competition, you got to show me, Dino, that you could win against elite competition, especially on the road. And he hasn't proven that his teams could do that. Taking the Spurs in New Jersey. Buddy, come on, Tom. Come on. It's a preseason for crying out loud. I mean, we're complaining about the middle of the NBA season when we don't know who's available.
2 hockey games. 2 hockey games. He's taking a 240 fave. What could go wrong?
Here's what I would recommend, Tom. Find a dice game on the corner. You got a better shot at winning. And the odds are better in your favor than playing the NBA preseason. Jersey Devils, good team, very good team. Sean took a bad beat with them last night, but I'm sure he'll agree. Jersey will be one of the best teams in the NHL Eastern Conference this year, Jesse.
Yeah, they're going to be good.
The New Jersey Devils?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I wasn't going to mention it, but I did have the over in last night's game.
Okay.
Last night's Devils game.
What do you embarrassed to say you won?
Sean said there was a late goal or something that might have helped.
Sean, you took all of his aggressive selling out of the poor guy's arsenal. Anyway, Rants, Colts will probably win. Jags.
O-line.
Yeah, Jags O-line bad. Okay. I'm sorry, that's the Spurs and the Devils. You're still talking about the Spurs, unless there's a new hockey team named the Spurs. It's still NBA preseason. Take the Colts, the Niners, Take the Colts, Niners over in the Bengals.
Free money.
$3.90.
That's supposed to be free money, I think. Dollar signs.
All right.
Free money. Rance, the pen is out. Hold on. Don't delete. I gotta write that down.
Is this the guy that comes in on your show?
I've seen him before. Rance,
Yeah.
Colts, Niners, over Cincy, free money.
Rance, good luck. And thank you for chiming in. And
yes, Rance.
You know, if you're not going against me, I hope you win, my friend. Jesse, any thoughts on those 3 games off the top of your head? Jesse's in another world. All right, sorry, people. We'll wake Jesse up. He'll be with us in about 10 minutes once he gets he takes his medication.
I was looking something up to answer the guy about James Madison.
Well, if you would let me handle that instead of always typing stuff, we'd be okay. All right, pay attention to what we're doing here. My God, I mean, you were the most well-behaved guy on the show up until today. Now you've been taking all these thoughts from this the white Mr. T over there and threw you for a loop. Man, oh man, we're gonna have to have a board meeting. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys for all the hard work from Ian Jackson. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. I noticed you chiming in and all the comments on our other archive shows, and we appreciate all your support and you chiming in. Arbo,
we already addressed this guy.
Little and Zay Jones are out also, but Gardner Minshew doesn't scare anyone. Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. Good luck with that, fellas. Look, is it possible that the Colts could lose this game too, Arbo, and still cover? It is a 4-point spread. Number 2, no, Gardner Minshew doesn't scare anybody, but what backup quarterback in the NFL does? I'll tell you what, I'll take Gardner Minshew as a backup quarterback above and beyond a lot of other guys. The Eagles got to the Super Bowl last year. Gardner Minshew started a couple games for them when Jalen Hurts was down. The Eagles organization is pretty smart. He was a backup quarterback there. So any guy, you want to chime in on this, guys?
I mean, he was a starting quarterback for Jacksonville. So
yeah,
bit of a revenge spot, right? Or not really revenge,
so,
because, I mean, you don't have to scare people to be quarterback.
It sounds to me like Arbo likes the other side, Jacksonville, or he's a Jacksonville fan, which I don't think he is. And you're trying to justify your pick. You don't have to justify it to us, Arbo, but when you start breaking it down in players, you don't think we're aware of the fact that there's a backup quarterback. We already mentioned it. And like I said,
how's this for you? Trent Dilfer doesn't scare anybody. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah, and if we know that Gardner Minshew's playing, don't you think the odds maker knows? This is the thing that a lot of you just don't get. It's all incorporated into the line, okay? You're not pulling any wool over anybody's eyes. You think if Gardner Minshew wasn't starting and Anthony Richardson was, the line, to me, I don't think there would be much of a difference in this line. But if there was, okay, it would be adjusted accordingly. Okay, if maybe the Colts might be a 5.5 point, I don't know, or excuse me, a 3-point dog. But the bottom line is, my point being is, don't get too caught up with players and injuries. If we know about it, the odds makers do too. It's incorporated into the line. Anyway, any final thoughts, guys? We need to wrap up here.
Sean?
I'm good. Final thoughts. Let's go. Make some money this weekend, people. All right?
Yeah,
don't bet NBA preseason for starters.
He's back to being in the NBA preseason. Again.
No betting allowed. NBA. It's right there in its initials. No betting allowed.
I think my comment on Trent Dilfer doesn't scare anybody, but he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. I can't top that. I want to end it on that.
All right, there you go. In any event, you could find Jesse, Sean, and myself at gamblersworld.net. Once again, folks, we guarantee all our picks, all single game and multi-game daily packages and subscription plans of 30 days or less. If you don't win, you don't make a profit, you will get your account credited back the exact amount of your purchase price or whatever money you took out of your pocket to spend on that particular pick. Okay, so it doesn't get any easier than that. We always hope that the majority of time that's a moot point, but if it isn't, you get credited back to your account. If you lose with Jesse or lose with me, you can buy from Sean. If you want to stick with me and Jesse, you can do that too. If you want to try one of the other 7 guys out with your credit, feel free to do so. There's no hidden agenda there. You can use it anytime you like. So there you go. There's a subscribe button. Actually, there's a WC logo right in the bottom right-hand corner of your video box right now. If you're watching on your PC, click on that. It'll get you subscribed. It's absolutely free. No strings attached. No hidden agenda, folks. You'll just be privy to the best sports betting podcast on the air today. Okay. If you're watching on your mobile device, which most of you are, there's a black subscribe button. Click on that. That'll get the same process. If you're watching on your smart TV, click the subscribe button. That'll get you subscribed. It costs you nothing. If you've already subscribed and you haven't hit your alert notification bell, you need to do so. And for all new subscribers, save yourself the time to have to do it again. Do it right when you subscribe. Go onto your YouTube settings. There's an alert notification bell. Click on that for the Winner Circle Sports Betting channel, and that will get you subscribed. I got 7 plays for college football on Saturday. I'll have another 3 or 4 in the NFL on Sunday. Sean just let you know he's got, again, Sean, 10 in college football.
NFL, 12 NFL, 8 college.
12 NFL, 8 college. And Jesse?
6 college and 3 NFL.
Why I got you on the air, Jesse? There's a like button right underneath. What do you want them to do with it?
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's just a small token of your appreciation for all the time, work, and effort we put into bringing you a quality show and for letting Sean Higgs muzzle Jesse for an entire show as well and influence him not to pretend to promote himself. Anyway, all kidding aside. Until the next time, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, I'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.